Ask a lot of questions.
Okay, so today it's the same mitzvah again. So we'll learn about the Chumash a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's the mitzvah to, before we get into the Chumash, very interesting topic. We'll just go through the mitzvah. The mitzvah of today is 127, which is to separate a tenth of your produce in order to give it to the Levi. In the times of the Second Temple was actually the Kohen, because there were no Levis those days, or at least in the beginning. And it says in the Torah that the tenth of the Jewish people that they bring up to Hashem goes to the Levi. And there's a special tractate in it's called Masech the Meisers in the Mishnah that talks all about these laws of the tenth. And it's called Meiser Rishon, the first Meiser, and it's only a mitzvah in Eretz Yisrael. Very interestingly, the first person that is recorded doing this mitzvah is Yitzchak. Isaac, Avram, his son is Yitzchak. He's the first person, Isaac, Yitzchak, the first person that it says in the Torah, it hints in the Torah, and the rabbis explain that he gave a tenth of his produce to Hashem. There was no Levi's those days. I don't know exactly who he gave it to, but it was a tenth of his produce he gave away. Maybe he gave it to the Kohen. So now, very interestingly, in this parsha, it says that Yitzchak was not allowed to leave Israel. Hashem told him, don't leave. What's so funny about it? Hashem told him, don't leave Israel. Why? So there's a debate between the rabbis. What's the debate? Was Israel holy before the Jews conquered it? Hundreds of years later when they came in from Egypt? Or was it holy the second God gave it to Avram? Yes.
It was holy all the time.
So he thinks it was holy all the time. I'll tell you, there's two opinions. I'll explain you why there's two opinions. There's another argument about the temple. The Rambam holds that in the temple, the physical temple, it was just like my bedroom. The room had no holiness. The room was a place, a special place that if you stand there, you can have a godly vision, knowledge, but not that the place God actually lived there. It was a place that if you were there, it was a good place to get prophecy, so to speak. So the Rambam's opinion in general is God cannot come to this physical world. Anytime you see there's a place that's holy, it's because it's a place that Hashem will come to you in a spiritual sense in your knowledge, not in the physical world. Then there's the Chassidus approach that no, Hashem is actually in the temple. He's literally there. It's different. The place that you're there is different than every other place. And that's why in the Holy of Holies, the way it worked was there was an ark that was 2.5 amas and 1.5, 2.5 and 1.5. So it actually took place. On the other hand, if you would measure the room, it would be 20 by 20, which means the ark didn't take any place on the floor if you would take a measuring stick. So it was there and not there in the same time. That's kind of a godly revelation right over there, right? Think about the miracle of the menorah. We're coming up to Hanukkah, lasting for 8 days, right? That's quite of a godly revelation. It says that the smoke on top of the altar was straight up. Even if it would rain, blow was crazy hurricanes, it would be straight up. So there were quite a few miracles. I would call that a godly revelation. But Chassidus explains not only there was a godly revelation, he actually lived, so to speak, in the house. So back to the concept about Israel being holy or not. It actually is the opposite of what you thought I was going to say. Because if you believe that Israel wasn't holy till the Jews came into Israel, why do you think so? Because you think that it doesn't mean Israel's holy in a very lofty spiritual sense. It means that it was physically holy. It actually was in the tree, in the rock. If you don't do something to it, it won't change, right? How do you make something different when you change it, right? How do you make a piece of paper more humane, more I don't know exactly what you would say. When you make a picture on a piece of paper, it becomes millions of dollars. Before that, it was a few cents, right? If you tape a banana, right? So that's a joke. But if somebody makes a picture, like the famous story of the rabbi was debating with the king, if there's a God. The king went whatever to the bathroom, I don't know, came back, maybe the way that they say the story, he went to get a book to prove his point. He came back and there's a beautiful picture on the table. He's like, Rabbi, you're an amazing artist. Why do you become a rabbi? You get a better job. So he's like, I'm an artist? the ink spilled, and suddenly it became a beautiful picture. And he's like, "Right, this ink doesn't spill, and it's exactly this. The picture looks gorgeous. It has to be you made the picture." No. I'm telling you, it's this crazy thing happened. The ink spilled, and like in a one of a thousandth of a chance, look what happened. So he's like, no, impossible. You're lying to me. He's like, think about it, okay? A piece of paper with a picture you don't believe was by accident. How could the whole world be by accident, right? So what's my point? What's my point? That my point is that when you make something with your hands, it uplifts it in a very strong way. So that's the two opinions. If you say that Israel became holy, the physical Israel is different than the outside of Israel, like the rock, the tree. So how you have to do it, you have to make it. That's why it wasn't able to happen until the Jews came to Israel. But that's the debate. Why Isaac wasn't able to leave Israel. Some people say, oh, it wasn't holy till the Jews came, so therefore it wasn't holy. So the reason why Isaac wasn't allowed to leave Israel was not because of the land, it was because of the people that lived there. What's the difference? The difference is that people that lived in Israel lived for many, many years with Abraham. What did Abraham do? He made sure everybody knew about God. So God told him, listen, Isaac, you're a very special person. You went on the altar, you're holy. You go between people in Egypt and other places, they don't know about God. How can you even talk to them? Stay there. But the other opinion is no, Israel was always holy. And therefore the reason why I wasn't able to leave was not because of the people. It was because it was holy, the ground was holy. You couldn't leave the ground of Israel.
It's from God.
Exactly.
Everything is holy is from God.
Yes.
Isn't it kind of like if you are at a meal,
Mm-hmm.
you're the 10th guy there,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot leave.
That's true.
So is that like a comparable sort of thing with that?
I'm not sure, but he says a very scary point. People don't know this. This is one of the hardest to keep. If you are at a meal and you're the 10th or the 3rd, you're not leaving the meal. Kind of scary. You have to ask your rabbi for some loophole because then you're gonna be stuck at meals a lot. For example, go to a wedding. Go to a wedding. If you make notes about a wedding, you're gonna have to wait till the end of the wedding. It's a good question. I don't know. By my thing, we should make benching early so let people leave.
Go to the server wedding, you go with the benches.
Exactly. If you're because it's a mitzvah to bench together. People don't know this. And don't take my word for this, but it says in the Torah that you meant to bench together, which means literally together. So Baruch Atah Hashem, everyone does it together. Yeah, most people they just talk and everything. The best way is to do it with the 3rd person or the 10th person. Now, if there's 10 people or the 3rd, you have to say everyone let's bench. And was like should say a pasuk. You know how it works, right? It says it in it's not just a fun thing to do.
No,
pasuk. He Shem Hashem Averach is a pasuk. So
no, the idea the person who have a if 2 sat at a table.
Yeah, so 3 people, right? So 3 people, you're stuck. If there's actually 6 people, so 3 people can bench by themselves, 3 people can bench by themselves. If there's 10 people, they're stuck again. Because 10 people is a higher level. You see Hashem's name.
Did you bench yesterday?
No.
What?
Oh, yesterday there you go. Yesterday I just went against what I'm being a hypocrite. Yesterday I benched. Me and you both benched.
I did
And
too.
you're also there. You benched.
Are you also left? You
Yeah.
should remind
Yom
us.
Kippur is coming up.
You're there, not me.
You're gonna have a great night.
First night ever.